All right, guys. So this is the Tony Cuviorno taking a new direction. We're filming a podcast with my friend Darwin over here. Darwin's a stand-up comic, and I work with him. And he's just all around a good guy. And we're taking a little bit of a different direction. I know you guys are used to seeing me react to videos, but I want to do a podcast. I want to start a podcast. So I want to be able to talk to people and get to know them. So this is the first episode. Check it out, guys. All right. So Darwin.
Yes.
I know you, but for the people that don't know you, what would you tell them? What would you say you are? Let's say you're meeting the people for the first time at a party. They're like, hey, my name is Tom, I'm a businessman, and it's your turn to introduce yourself. What would you say
What
you
would
are?
I say about myself?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I would say I'm a real people person,
Yeah.
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 I'm the type of person when I have like a few seconds with you, I'll talk to you. Like I say, like if I'm in an elevator with you and like for like 5 seconds, 10 seconds, I'll take the time to say what's up, We're in there, might as well say something. I don't like no noise, like
Yeah.
silence, I mean, I use it in what I do, but when like interaction, I try to fill in the silence,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, me too. Like when I'm in an elevator, right? Like I have to say hi to the person that walk in.
Yes.
Because if I don't say hi to the person that walk in, I feel like I'm ignoring them on purpose. Yeah. Like people have this like natural propensity to just talk, right? When they're in closed spaces, right?
Yes.
And it's almost like if I don't say hi, if I don't just like connect a little bit, like extend like a feeler out, I'm deliberately not doing that. But do you think that like everybody is like that? Like, do you think some people just don't even feel that propensity to connect a little bit?
I feel, Tony, I feel like it's the generation we're in.
Yeah.
I feel like the generation we're in, they kind of lost it.
Yeah.
Just interacting like, in person.
Yeah.
I feel like it's coming back again, but very slow. But yeah, I feel like they're losing that interaction because everyone's online,
Yeah.
Everything's online, everything's virtual, and
Yeah.
you know what I mean. They're good at typing and
Yeah.
and conversing that way, but just in person, they lost it. Like they have to, they have to learn that again.
Yeah, it's almost like back in the day, they didn't have the cell phones to kind of like, hide under. Like, hey, I'm talking to you. Like, oh, I got a text on my cell phone. They could like, pretend to look at it, but. Back in the day, there's no cell phone to hide your head under, so it's almost like you have to say hi. You have to say hi, Yeah.
100%. I think I got that from my grandpa.
Yeah.
Because growing up, I don't know, but mostly Asians are raised by their grandparents. I don't know if it's the same for you, but I noticed my grandpa, he would say hi to everybody.
Yeah.
Like everyone he comes in contact with, going on the bus, he says hi to the bus driver, like anyone, like you. Going in the elevator, like you said, like you just say hi, because you're staring at me.
Yeah.
When you stare at me, I'm not gonna say nothing.
Yeah.
Like that's so rude.
Yeah.
So I've heard a saying one time. I said, what is it? I said my part, bless your heart. Like that's how I live life. Like I said my part. You don't say anything back to me, it's okay. I said my part of it. So that's how I go through life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not to like quickly turn like a misogynistic route in this podcast, right? But I almost feel like it's more difficult to say hi to women like in public. Like even if you're just in the elevator, right? And an attractive woman walks in, it's almost like if you just say hi, the same kind of hi you would say to like a regular man or something, there's like a chance that they'll perceive that hi as you hitting on them. But it's really just to like, hey, we're both in this elevator, like what's going on, right? Like I'm not even trying to hit on you, right? No. But it's almost like with attractive women or with women in general, there's like a higher level of like they're more, they might think it's more than just like a hello,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people have their guard up. And I've experienced not even just women, like even men.
Yeah.
I remember one time, it was, Father's Day is coming up, right?
Yeah.
So Father's Day, if I see you with a kid, I'll say, hey, happy Father's Day. I don't know you.
Yeah.
But I said that to this guy, and he got him, like, it took him aback, right?
Yeah.
Like, what do you want from me?
Yeah, you want to touch my kid? Like, yeah.
Get away from me, pedophile.
Yeah. Seriously, like, it's like nowadays, like, if a father walks in with some kids, like, I feel kind of awkward. I'm like, or can I even say like, oh, you got a cute kid? Like, can I even say stuff like that anymore? nowadays it's like this topic is like so hot on the internet, and I swear people are like blowing it out of proportion, you know? Yes, there's pedophiles, yes, there's crime against whatever, but if we keep talking about it, it's just gonna make people more fearful of it than it is, you know? Yeah.
No, I got you. Like, I have to sometimes like hold back because, like you said, if you see like a kid, a good-looking kid,
Yeah.
you know that kid dresses nice, but then people might think other things. Like, no, honestly, I just think he looks good.
Yeah.
He dresses
Looks
better.
sharp.
He
Looks
dresses
sharp,
better
yeah.
than me.
Yeah.
I there was a time where I dropped my kids off at school.
Yeah.
And if you guys don't know, I walk. I have a different way of walking. I'll get into it if we have the time. But these kids were staring at me.
Yeah.
So rather than staring at me, I went up to them and started talking to them.
Yeah.
But from afar, you think about a grown man talking to these kids.
Yeah.
What is this guy talking to these kids about?
Yeah.
You know. So luckily, nothing came from it. But I'm thinking if parents see me talking to these kids, I could be reported like there's this strange guy talking to kids on the at the school grounds. But
yeah, and they say like there's that like saying, right, that if you're like a man at a park, right, a kid's park, okay, you're just a solo dad there, okay, and you're watching your kid, right, and then all these like other women or moms around, they'd be like, who's that man like watching our kids? But you could be watching your own kids there, so it feels like now like men can't even talk to kids anymore. Like before, you could walk up to a kid and be like, like you say, I walk this way because of my condition. But now it's almost like,
why are you talking to my kid?
Yeah, you cannot talk to a kid as a man, and I think that like that messes things up in society. I feel like there's just wisdom that men will pass on to kids, the next generation, and there's wisdom that women will pass on to the next generation. But because of like this environment that's sort of like being parroted online about how, men are these predators, and and women can be predators too, right? But that's like less talked about,
For sure.
Yeah, nowadays there's like so many articles about women being predators, like school teachers, female school teachers being predators, and it's almost like like the kind of language that they use when they're describing like a female predator.
Yeah.
This female teacher had sex with a student, but then when they use like a male teacher, this male teacher raped a student. It's almost like the language they use is like different between like female and male.
It's always been like that, and it's not. I don't know if it'll go away. Like even my wife, she's very, very like into that stuff, but we say we're watching something, and if the roles are flipped, it's different. Like, but then why is it different then? You know what I mean? Like you're just explaining like it's like, have you ever watched a movie called Unfaithful?
I heard about it. Yeah.
So basically, this
Julia
lady,
Roberts or something.
No, I forgot her name, but it's basically the woman cheats on the husband.
Yeah. Meg Ryan.
No, I forgot her name. I forgot her name.
Forget about it.
Yeah, but basically the story is she cheats on her husband, and I mean it's a memorable movie. Like I one of my favorites. But if it was flipped around, it's like it's different. It's a different feel.
Yeah. You're not going to get a movie about a man solely cheating on the wife. Like the storyline, there's not going to be a movie where the storyline is just a man cheating on the woman, right? People will be like, yo, what a BS movie. Like, dirty men. Yeah. But then you'll get a movie about a woman cheating on the man.
It's
and
different.
Like, that woman's emotions is so brave. I applaud her for going through this. It's like what?
Yeah, it's different. There's something on Netflix right now called Ashley Madison.
Oh, yeah.
I was watching a little bit of it, and it's, if you guys don't know, it's basically a website where if you basically they get married couples together, and if you're getting bored with your marriage or whatever, this website allows you to connect with other married people without
there's anonymity, right?
That's right.
You could be a little private or something.
It's crazy. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I can't put myself in that situation, but hearing their stories, like it's okay for my wife to go sleep with other men, and I am okay to sleep with other women, and then they come together as a husband and wife.
Yeah.
And their marriage is better than ever because, you're not lying, you're not cheating because you gave me permission.
Right.
But at the same
Opening
time,
up their marriage.
But at the same time, in my head, I'm like, why are you together then? Like, what's the purpose of you being together and being married?
Yeah.
I can never understand. I'm sorry if there are people that live that life.
Yeah.
I can't see myself doing that. I don't know.
Yeah, that seems to be like a very like Western thing, like a very like Western civilization, like maybe European or North American. Like you don't really hear about it in maybe Asia, right? Where and I also feel like I don't really hear it in like South America where like they open up their marriage, the wife can go see some other men, the husband can go see some other woman. I don't really hear that in in South America or Asia. I wanted to say that I wonder if it's natural, because certainly I can speak from the men's side that maybe after like, for me personally, maybe even after like 6 months to a year or something, I would want to, be with other women. Like not in a relationship, but physically. I want to just sleep with another woman, right? But I still like the woman that I am with, my girlfriend, my potential fiance.
Yeah.
So it's like naturally I know I would do that, and I feel like I can do that, sleep with someone else, but still love my partner. But do you think women can do that?
They are.
Yeah.
Because that website is basically running because of the women. Like men are paying to meet up with these women. You know what I mean? Like
I see.
Yeah.
Like, so you're saying there's more married women, like more partnered women on that side?
Yes.
Because what I heard is that men can sleep with another woman outside of their relationship and be okay with it and still love their partner. They just, sex is sex to them, right? But women, when they sleep with another man, that relationship's already over because, women, and there's some women I think that can also just like, have casual sex, right? But I think that from what I've heard is that when women do it, they've kind of already checked out of the relationship. Do you think there's any truth to that?
Yeah, there's a comedian, I forgot who said this, but when they break up with you, they already broke up with you 6 months ago.
Yeah.
It's just they're just waiting for the right time. You know?
Yeah.
So it's all premeditated, and women are their brains are wired different, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I can see that already because I have a son and a daughter.
Yeah.
Just their development from birth to now, it's different. And
what would you say that difference is?
Well, I mean, it's science too. Like my daughter learned how to walk faster than my son. My daughter learned how to speak sooner than my son. But my son's quicker in like motor skill. Meaning like picking up like sports or something. You know what I mean? My daughter's different. Like it's like that. But I mean, for me, that's my experience. And I don't know.
So you're saying like your daughter would be 3 and she's already maybe like walked and talked, but then your son would be 3 and these sort of skills you haven't seen him develop it like as fast.
Yeah.
Same age point, but the girl sort of developed faster.
Like for example, learning how to use the potty. My son learned how to do it faster than my daughter. Like how to use the,
Oh, so you're saying like men have better, toilet going skills, bodily function skills,
Yeah, that never leaves. But hey, I don't know, man. Like I don't know if that's being sexist, but I feel like that women's brains are just wired different. That's why they do what they do, and that's why they do things in relationships that men are just, you know what I mean? Like one time, my wife and I got in an argument because it felt like my wife was doing all the planning. Yeah. But then my argument is, but if you left it with me, nothing will get done. Like, it's not like it won't get done. It just won't get done the way you want it. Yeah. So I just leave it for you. Yeah. I'll do the rest. Like, just tell me what to do. But I don't know that. It's a never-ending thing, man. It's like, I always say it's not a game. Like who does more. Just work as a team, you know what I mean? So, but that's how it is in a relationship, and marriage is like that. It's never ends, man. I've been with my wife for like how many years now? 20 years,
Yeah.
20 plus years.
Yeah.
And we're still learning. And number one is communication for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, so speaking as someone who's been with their wives for like 20 years, right? Like, and nowadays we're starting to see like relationship models change, right? There's new types of relationships, right? There's the open relationships, right? There's the polygamy, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that the classic man and woman, and for most of the time it's just them two, do you think that's the primary model, at least for raising a family? Or could you see like other models working, other relationship like models?
Yeah. No. There's different types of, I guess, relationships, different types of marriages, and whatever works for you works for you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not here to preach, well, you know, this is right
Yeah.
and wrong. This just works for me and my wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a never-ending thing. That's why it's called a relationship. You try to relate.
Yeah.
So it never ends, man. My parents have been married for maybe 45 years now.
Yeah.
Man, they all they talk, their conversation is always just yell. Like,
Yeah.
there's no, everything is back and forth. Everything is just a insult to each other, and that's
Oh, really? An
that's-
insult. So it's not just loudly
That's-
speaking. It's an
yeah.
their insult. Is it like a roasting each other where they're
Yeah,
kind of like they
never
know
end.
each other or is it like a literal insult? Like
It's
I
more-
never liked your skin. What the fuck? Like,
You know what that saying when they say, if you have nothing good to say, don't say it at all?
Yeah.
They say it at all. My mom just nonstop. My dad, you know, he picks his battles, but
Yeah.
my mom is the one just throws things like, it's funny. That's what made their marriage last, you know,
Yeah.
and that's how they show love and affection to each other. They just roast each other back and forth, and now that I'm married and I'm at that age where I have my own kids, now they can joke with me. You know, they can talk about adult stuff and marriage stuff with me because, you know, I'm
like
in it.
what? Like what would be like an adult
Oh
stuff?
man, just things like I don't even want to know that. You know, like I don't know.
Like sexual stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One time I'm a barber by trade. I was cutting my dad's hair. I didn't even know how this conversation came. I was cutting my dad's hair. My mom was watching me. And she goes, Darwin, you have one testicle, right? I'm like, no, Mom, I have two. Oh, I always thought you had one. I said, where did that come from? Oh, because when you were a kid, you had a hernia. I thought they took your testicle. I said, no, Mom, there's still two.
Yeah.
It's just one's higher than the other, you know?
Yeah.
You know, having that conversation with my mom is
Yeah.
like, it's good, but it's like, that's too much information. Like, oh, you know that. And then, you know, and then my mom talks about my dad's privates and, oh man, I'm like.
And like they started it like right when you got married or something.
Yeah.
My son's married now. Let's break the dam.
Yeah, everything goes, man. Like, yeah, like anything sexual is the best, you know, just the
best, yeah.
Yeah, because we're driving, I usually drive them around, carpool, and conversation just, oh man, I'm telling my...
With your wife there too?
No, she's not there.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
always just me and my wife. It's always my parents and I, and that's the best conversation. Like I saying to myself, when they pass on, I'm gonna tell these stories like what we talked about in the car. It's so funny. Like that's the best times is just in the car, you know, just because you know parents they don't tell you as a kid, they don't tell you the stories, and now it's coming out, but still it's I know there's stories that we'll never hear. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you know, like when I grew up, like I would say I didn't have the best relationship, and I still don't think I have the best relationship with my parents, right? But definitely, like when they're gone, you will feel like, hey, you know, these people were there for like 20, 21 years of my life, right? And maybe we fight a lot, right? Maybe we roast each other, or I get roasted like past the point of a roast, you know, but you know, they cared about you, right? Like there's a level of closeness that I had with them that you attain with your family that you don't often get when you meet other people in life, when you come across other people in life, you know? And you know, when I was young, I would like not know that sometimes you can't be as close with other people as you can with your family. So, you know, I grew up close a little earlier, I just said I'm not close, but there's a certain level of closeness I have with my family that, like, when I went out into the world, I would share that closeness. I would just use that closeness as the operus mandi with other people. But then I realized some people are like, whoa, like, why are you like so familiar with me already? And so I think you go out into the world and you kind of just, you try to find people who can like mimic that closeness, because you want to feel secure, you want to feel safe,
Yeah, no, Tony. Ever since you and I met, like, I had this, I don't know, just to feel like this guy's different.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are not like that. They're not like, they're just one-worded response. You know what I mean? Like, how you doing? I'm good. That's it. But then I've noticed, you get to know the person. Like, you ask me questions, whoever, I'm like, do you know that person? I ask you, do you know that person? No, I just met them today. I'm like, whoa. It seemed like you knew each other, you know what I mean, for a while. But I like that trait. I'm trying to teach that trait to my kids because I don't want them to lose that. Because as kids, kids are like that though.
Yeah.
They lose it after. They lose it as they grow.
Yeah.
Because they're scared of judgment.
Yeah.
They're scared of what people think of them and whatever,
They've reached out a little bit and that got burned, right?
Yeah.
They reached out their feelings and got cut. So they're like, well, I'm not reaching those out anymore.
I'm not going to say that again, but
yeah.
Hey man, like, God gave you a voice, use it, right?
Yeah. And I feel like that did happen to me at one point, I'm like really friendly, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, I've been burned a couple of times, and then I'm like, okay, well, you know what? I'm not gonna be friendly anymore. I'm not gonna, go out and talk to people anymore. But I realized that like the only person that I hurt when I do that is myself. Because I want to.
Yeah.
For those like maybe few years where I'm like, I'm not gonna talk to anybody. I turn my head up. I'm the only person that hurt because I'm like, damn, I really wanted to talk to that person. And that person was maybe expecting me to talk to them. Like they wanted to talk, but I didn't. And they didn't. And now I missed out on that connection. Like the only person that hurt was myself,
I feel like people that give you that like that energy, like they want to mimic what your energy is that's on them.
Yeah.
Like I said, you did your part, bless their heart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's a hard thing to turn on and off because it's kind of like changing you. You don't want to be changed. Like you said, you missed an opportunity because of a situation that happened before.
Yeah.
Now you don't want to reach out to people like, oh man, have you ever heard of a multi-level marketing?
Yeah. Yeah.
One of my friends put me in there.
Okay.
And it wasn't a good experience because once I was in there, my mindset changed. I didn't want to talk to anyone that was working in 9 to 5, like, because that type of mindset for MLM is you want to be your own boss, right? That you want to have your own business and you're not working 9 to 5. You work how you want to work and you'll be making all this money. So I was like turning people off, like I was turning people away.
Yeah.
My friends, I remember this lady at my other job, and she was gonna sat beside us for lunch, but then no one talked.
Yeah.
Because it was my friend that was in the business with me, and then this person that's working at 9 to 5. Like in my head, I'm like, you're working for somebody.
Yeah.
We're working for nobody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It felt so bad. So I actually apologized to that lady after.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm sorry I treated you that way because I was at a time in my life where I thought I was going to leave this job and show everybody I'd be making money, you know? But yeah.
and did that lady sort of like acknowledge that she did feel like cold shouldered by you that day? Like did she like felt that vibe? Yeah. She knew what you were talking about.
She actually didn't stay with this like in the table with us. She left.
Oh wow. Okay, so you really felt it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we were having a conversation and we were leaving her out.
Yeah.
But I mean, I didn't mean to do that. It's just because we were talking about business.
Yeah.
How we're gonna make money and have you ever experienced MLM?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
I have. Yeah.
Have you got into it?
No, one time. Okay, I have this kind of like acquaintance I met in high school, right? His father was like, I guess, got into MLM like early or something.
Yeah.
Okay, Amway, I think it was called, right?
Amway is
and so his father made it. Like they're rich, right?
Yeah.
So he does it too, and it's easy for him to do it because his father's high up, right? And so, and he got like some of our friends into it. And one time he came up to me, he was like, hey, I heard there's this new MLM company opening up, right? And I think they stole some of our like teaching procedures or class material, right?
Yeah.
How do you feel about like wearing these camera glasses and going in there and like seeing if they did, teach the same thing, right?
No way.
And so, I was like 17 or something. He paid me $50, right? I pretended to be interested in the other MLM, and I went into their meeting,
Yeah.
and I had the glasses on, right? And I was talking to people, and I was sitting through their meeting and everything, and I was like, and then people were coming up to me. Someone I knew from a previous job was like, Tony, I didn't know you were into this. Congratulations. And the way they treat people in there is very like, oh, congratulations,
Yeah.
you made the right choice coming into MLM, right?
Yeah.
So he came out to me, he's like, Tony, I didn't know you were into this. Great job. And I was like, yeah, I'm into it. But the whole time I was a spy, right?
Yeah.
And then I gave the footage to that guy, and the guy reviewed it. I'm not sure whatever came of that. Like, I don't know if they were copying off the same material from Amway, but
I'm sure. Like, I feel like, because I've been more in more than one
Yeah.
MLM. The first one, what was it? Maybe 2 or 3, and then after that, I just stopped. You know, like it just kept coming, because every time it sounded different.
Yeah.
But then when you go into it, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like it's basically the person at the top gets the most, right? They call it a pyramid scheme.
yeah, pyramid scheme, yeah.
But then, I mean, so this other MLM got me in because it wasn't a pyramid, but then it is a pyramid, but it was on its side, like.
No, what?
Yeah, the diagram, they just turned it this way, so no, that's not a pyramid.
Yeah.
But it went this way instead of this way.
Oh my God.
But anyways,
Yeah.
I don't know. I tried to get my wife in it, and she already knew this is a scam. Like, because what it is, you're trying to sell products.
Yeah.
Products you can buy at Superstore, which is double the price.
Yeah.
And so we end up just buying the box ourselves, and like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, like, and using it for ourselves. But after that, like, I just it burned a lot of bridges.
Does it really like give it like all the way up, or does it just give it to like the 3 people above you?
Well, I mean, your what do you call it? I guess your, what do they call it? They call it legs. The more legs you have, the more, stream, I guess they call it, if I can remember. But yeah, the more people you get in, the more you get, because whatever, I guess recruiting, you get a portion or a percentage of that, and they recruit and you get a percentage.
So let's say the first person that was the first multi-level
Yeah.
marketer, are they still getting revenue from all the people down under?
Yeah, pretty much.
Then what kind of revenue are the people down under getting then?
Nothing until you start bringing your own people in.
Okay, so like let's say you sell a box, right?
Yeah.
How much would you literally make in profit?
Oh, I can't remember.
Yeah.
There's a chart. It's like, I don't know, man.
Like let's say you made, how much was the one box average?
How much was maybe like 150 or something?
150. Like how much would you make? Just average.
I can't remember. I didn't get into that long. That's
Yeah.
why.
But would you get $5?
Okay. I think you get like percent.
Yeah.
So I would say like you get like either a 5 or 10%. It's online, man.
Yeah.
You can see
You would get 5%, right?
of whatever product you sell.
So 5% of like 150, I think is like maybe $20 or something.
Yeah. It's not much.
Wait, hold on. Is it $20? No, it's not. Maybe $2.
It's not much.
$7. $7 something. You get $7 something, but does that mean like someone 50 levels above you would also get some money?
I'm guessing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
Wouldn't it, like, at the very end, the last person who joined, like, they would just get a penny out of every box?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why it's good when you were there from the start,
Yeah.
like you're saying, your friend, your friend, right?
Yeah.
Dad?
Yeah.
Yeah, in the 80s or late 70s, that's when the MLM, I remember, was like big. So
Yeah.
if you were like at the top, then yeah, you'd be making money now. But I feel like it's so saturated right now. I did one MLM where it was like a brain thing.
What do you mean? Like a brain supplement?
Yeah, it helps you, because I guess you ever watch the movie Limitless?
Yeah.
Limitless? So that just came in, and then I guess this company came out, and they're saying that if you take this, it's similar to that movie where it uses more of your brain, like, because we only use 10% of our brain.
What was the pill called? Like Alpha GPC, or I think I've heard of some.
Are we allowed to say that on here?
Yeah. What was the medication called, or the supplement called?
I can't even remember it.
Yeah. Okay.
But basically, they had a celebrity too on there that was selling it.
Yeah.
He was like a
Yeah. And you
Olympics.
and so how was it? Like you sold it, or?
No, again, I just bought the product and then I used it on myself.
Yeah.
The thing is, when you use it, like, is it
And
really?
then you're like, wait, this MLM shit is bullshit. Yeah, I am smarter now. I quit, sir. Like, yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't know, man. Like, I mean, they said they did tests and stuff, but yeah, you know that saying about they call it the when you think it's working, but it's just in your head.
Like,
What's that word they call it?
like
Something effect.
yeah, it means like placebo.
Yes,
Yeah, placebo, right? Yeah.
Exactly, placebo effect. That's what I felt when I was taking it.
Yeah. I've taken some like Alpha Brain, like there was a pill called Alpha Brain, it's like a brain supplement, right? I've taken it before, and I literally felt like, what do you call it when you, goosebumps, like goosebumps running down like the back of my spine,
When
like
you
a good thing.
when you took it.
Yeah, when I took it, it's like a good thing. But I don't think these pills like make you feel, like I don't think they make you smarter. They might make more of your brains, like more parts of your brain work, but just because they have, energizing supplements in there. Like, for example, if you take Adderall, it doesn't make you smarter, but it's an amphetamine. Like, it makes you more energetic. So you might be more prone to think out your processes, whatever
Yeah.
you got going on. So
Yeah.
I don't think they make you smarter, but there is some use to them. But it's not literally making you smarter, though.
Yeah. I would love that though. If that was a true pill, you just take it and
Yeah.
you're using 100% of your brain.
Yeah, I feel like, have you heard of this? His name is Sam Bankman-Fried.
No.
He is the CEO of this firm, this cryptocurrency firm. I forgot what it's called. I think it's called something like. But anyways, he was taking this drug, and I think the drug was literally. It's also a different type of like amphetamine. You know what? I should search it up here, just in case the audience like know what I'm talking about here. So Sam Bankman-Fried, FTX. He was the CEO of FTX, a cryptocurrency exchange, right?
Okay.
And he was taking this drug called what is it called? MSAM.
Okay.
And what's inside MSAM? Let's see here. MSAM drug. Oh, you know what? MSAM, it has like this thing called L-deprenyl, okay? I don't think it's an analog of amphetamines, right? But he would take L-deprenyl or MSAM, and that was his sort of like limitless drug. Like people have been talking about like, oh, Sam Bankman-Fried, he would take MSAM, and that was how he made it, with FTX, that cryptocurrency exchange. So
Never heard that.
yeah, so something to look into, if you're still looking.
Yeah, no, that's now coming from that, what amazes me is people that are autistic.
Yeah.
Recently I was talking to my wife about kids being autistic. Like there's this kid, I forgot his name, but they would take him on a helicopter ride, and then show the skyline of the city.
Yeah.
And so while he's looking out the helicopter, he gets back, he draws the whole skyline again.
Yeah.
To exact, to the window,
Yeah.
because he's autistic.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy, like how your brain is like that.
Yeah. And yeah. Yeah, and you know how they say like autistic people aren't as good as like communicating, like the social awareness isn't as, perhaps as good as like a non-autistic person?
Yeah.
I wonder if it's because they're focusing most of their brains on non-social things. Like you could be talking to me, right? But I'm looking at that table and I'm like, oh, that table is shaped like this. It's 70 centimeters down, right? And then so you're using your brain energy to keep the conversation going, and I'm using my brain energy to look at how that table is constructed.
Yeah.
Like I wonder if like that's, if it could be like summed down simply like that,
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Like their brain is just wired to focus on one thing. That's why they're so good at it. You know? Like some of them are good with numbers, and I was like, I don't know. It's kind of like having a superpower kind of, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I heard like autism is like a spectrum. So really, on some levels, like we're all, a little bit autistic, And do you think that like there's things that you're autistic about that, that maybe you're different about, or that you're hyper like fixated on?
I mean, dyslexia.
Dyslexia?
Yeah.
My autism is mental retardation. No. I'm not saying, dyslexic people are mental retardation, but I love how you gave another mental condition. Like,
I haven't been medically diagnosed,
Yeah.
but it's crazy how things
Yeah.
just come out perfectly wrong.
yeah.
And when I try to correct, or when I purposely want to be wrong, it comes out wrong. No, I'm trying to reverse it,
Yeah.
but then it comes out right or something. Like it's
So
crazy.
you think you might be dyslexic?
I think so.
Yeah. So, because I think for me, the definition of dyslexia is like, you take a look at a set of numbers, right? But you might read them, the orders reversed or in different orders. Is that what happens to you when you?
I feel like it's not that it's reading. It's just my focus is, I guess reading. I mean, if I really put my mind to it, I read, like I have to really focus.
Yeah.
I can't just skim through, especially if it's like time sensitive.
Yeah.
I have to read out loud.
Yeah.
To really focus what I'm reading, because my eyes jump here, jumps down, jumps up, jumps down. Like, but as I don't know if, again, I've been diagnosed, but as a kid, you learn how to hide it.
Yeah.
And make it work for you, and but my wife and I make fun of it all the time.
Yeah.
But
Do you think that's like also like ADHD a little bit, or it's dyslexia?
I think it's dyslexia.
Dyslexia, yeah.
I can't even say that word.
Yeah. and you like you also like do some comedy. Like, do you think that like that got you kind of into it? Like maybe you're like, oh, I see the connection between two things that other people perhaps like don't see the connection between.
I think so.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
I think so. I don't know if I was born with it or I learned.
Yeah.
Like I said, you learn how to mask, your weakness.
Yeah.
So people don't know. Oh, this guy can't read. You find ways to make it look like you know how to read.
Yeah.
Comedy. I feel like it's a struggle because I have to know my next joke.
Yeah.
And sometimes I just blank out, but I'm slowly learning how to make it work. Like, I've recently learned how to memorize my set by putting them in like groups of 3.
Yeah.
Before I was trying to memorize like a whole set of like 10 ideas, but now if I group them in 3, I can remember them.
Oh, I see.
So
Like
it helps a lot.
Something like the start, the middle, and the end.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Yeah.
Exactly, like intro, middle, and or chorus and stuff. But yeah, it's something. I used to write my jokes on my hand all the time.
Yeah.
And people were starting to see that.
Yeah.
And like, you know what I mean? Like, one other comic's like, you reading off your hand? Like, yeah, because I have a hard time remembering things.
Yeah.
But luckily, I'm slowly learning how to, do my set without reading something. So my real test is actually the end of this month, June 30th. I'll be headlining at this comedy club, and they're gonna give me 30 minutes. 30 minutes. That's the longest I've ever performed. So I'm gonna test like my.
What club is it at?
It's called Underground Comedy.
Oh, Underground, comedy. Yeah.
So check it out. It's this June 30th.
Plug it. Yeah.
120 West Hastings.
Yeah. What postal code?
But
Vancouver, right? Vancouver.
In Vancouver.
June 30th.
Yeah.
And that's a Sunday, I believe.
That is a Sunday.
Yeah. At the Underground Comedy.
There's actually going to be 2 shows. There's going to be one at 5 p.m. and 10.
Yeah.
So I've never been to New York, but I've been to this club many times, and they say this club is close to a comedy club in New York. So if you like that vibe, check it out.
So it's the same like branch, like the comedy club is the name of it.
It's not even a branch, it's just the scene. Like,
I see.
You come in, it's a restaurant, but then you go downstairs, it's a club, like a comedy club.
Okay.
What do you call that? Just those speakeasies?
Speakeasies, it's underground. I think you brought me there one time, right? Like it's underground,
yeah,
right?
you did come.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's dark in there.
Yeah. So you're headlining this event, like who's opening for you then?
We're still figuring out the lineup.
Yeah.
But I guess the producer reached out to me and said, hey, do you want to headline? I said, as a comic, you always say yes.
Yeah.
Even though you're not ready, you just say yes,
Yeah.
and then you make sure you're ready.
Yeah. Yeah.
So 30 minutes, I've never done 30 minutes, but I asked advice from other comics. She's like, just think about this. It's 6 sets of 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, actually that makes sense. So,
Yeah.
like, just have fun. They keep saying, like, just don't take it too serious. Just have fun and have fun with the crowd. If they know you're having fun on stage, they'll have fun, and people are there to see you,
Yeah.
So we'll see how the outcome. But it's a Sunday, which is a cool thing because a lot of people are not busy Sundays. So,
Yeah. And you, having to do like, what was your second longest set like before this one?
I would say 15.
15 minutes? Yeah. And so it's sort of like twice the length of that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
15 minutes. And I was talking slow too.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Nah. Who's there? Yeah.
But I'm going to try to incorporate like crowd work in there and, get to know the audience a little. I'm trying to work on that. My goal is to make it my goal is to be able to like do crowd work. I know people don't like it because they come for a show. They want to see some jokes, not you picking on some guy or girl in the audience the whole time. But think about this, guys. Like, why would you want to see something that you'll see again? Like, you know what I mean? This is organic. This is done. You'll never see this again because we're picking on the audience, and that's how I look at it. I remember I went to a Russell Peters concert or a show, and the audience, some of them didn't like the show because he kept doing crowd work. I'm like, that's the best because
It's sort of like unique, right? Like it's not pre-written, Yeah.
So you know what I mean? Like, why would you want to watch something like in person, live, that you watched on Netflix? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Some people can't see that.
I think like if crowd work is done well, like it's good, right? Like I appreciate that, right? Any type of comedy is good. Just don't pick on me, right? Like I don't know how to feed you the stuff.
Don't sit in the front row then.
Yeah, I might be kind of awkward. Don't pick on me, right? But I do appreciate good crowd work. My question is, like, sometimes you see online these clips of comedians doing crowd work, right?
Yeah.
Like, do you think that like there's a percentage of them that like has a mole planted into the crowd? Like they know this couple, right? They're like, okay, I'm gonna pick on you at this. I'm gonna say this. You act the same way I want. Like, do you think if you came across such a clip, you'd know, like you can tell, like, hey, that's auditioned crowd work. That's rehearsed crowd work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they do it pretty good.
Yeah.
It's hard to gauge that. I mean, if you're really good at, acting, it looks authentic, but it kind of takes the magic away. There was one where what's his name, Dave Chappelle came and he pointed out an audience member that was recording him.
Yeah.
He's like, "How did you get a camera and all your phones are put into pouches? How did this security?" And then they kicked him out.
Yeah.
It sounded real.
Yeah.
But then, like you said, it's part of the show.
Oh.
Yeah, in the other part, like other city, he did the same thing.
What?
Yeah. So kind of like I get to show that.
So Dave Chappelle like faked some of that part.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I guess I don't know. It's part of the show, but at the same time, it shows people not to record.
Oh, is that what's the intent behind that? Is it for that?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to set a precedent. You better not record. I'll get you kicked out?
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
feel like
Okay.
it's kind of like a warning, but
If that's the precedence, then I get it. Like, hey, I want other people to not record, so my material is always fresh to whoever sees it. Mm-hmm. If the precedence was to make that funny, then I don't like that. Like, then I don't like the rehearsed crowd work. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've seen it, and I don't know the turn off. Like I always ask someone that's not a comedian.
Yeah.
What do you think of this when they do this?
Yeah.
Like my wife hates it when a joke doesn't work, and then they bring it up that it didn't work. Like she hates that. Like, oh, it was funnier yesterday. Like,
oh,
it's a turn
yeah.
off.
Yeah.
Just run with it. If they didn't laugh, just go to the next joke.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is not going well.
Yeah.
If you say that, then the audience is gonna say, yeah, it's not going well.
Yeah.
Like it turns you off. Like just keep going.
Yeah, because it's kind of like a way of like garnering like sympathy almost, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh shoot, oh, I forgot that line, and then people are like, oh, you forgot the line? Oh, like, you're not confident? Like, yeah, it's sort of a way of like garnering sympathy, and I could see it's like being on a date.
Yeah.
And then, you're with a girl or something, you're like, oh, well, this is not going well. And you think it's kind of cute, but then the other person who's giving their best is like,
Yeah.
Like now you snapped out of it. They're thinking you
Yeah.
snapped out of it. You know.
Like you said, you mimic.
Yeah.
You know, confidence is number one. Like
Yeah.
I asked my wife for the things like, what do women like in men?
Yeah.
Confidence, 100%. Number
Yeah.
one, confidence.
Yeah.
You could be the ugliest guy, but if you have
Yeah.
confidence, like, what's his name? I don't know. How's Jay-Z with Beyonce? You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
confidence. So
Confidence and like $500 million. Like, I would say.
Oh, man.
No, but yeah, he definitely got her like before he made the $500 million. Yeah, you know, there's something to be said about just believing in yourself and going for it. You know, I think like when I was young, like my dad would always make me like look at my actions. You know, he would always be like, think about what you're doing. And I think if you think about what you're doing too much, you might be like, did I do this right? Did I do this right? As opposed to just doing what you feel like, you know,
Yeah.
and you know, maybe at some level you want to take inspiration from like another person's like footsteps, but you also just want to like go about it, right? Because if you keep reconsidering, you kind of take yourself off the path, and you kind of take a step back as opposed to just going for it, you know?
yeah, it kind of like,
Yeah,
it's like you're putting yourself in a box.
yeah,
Or like putting yourself with the ceiling, you know? Like,
Yeah.
that's the thing that as a comedian, a lot have to learn is to just be yourself
yeah,
on stage, because you have to be as vulnerable on stage as possible, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I remember reading something like it says, whatever you're afraid to speak about or talk about
Yeah.
is what you talk about on stage.
Yeah.
But then, in the back of my head, it's still like, what people are going to think about me if I say this. But
Yeah.
that's you.
yeah,
Just say it. There's a comedian who had a tattoo that he goes by,
yeah,
and it just says, fuck it, just go, just
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
That's his tattoo.
Yeah.
So he just does his comedy and just whatever. I feel like there's a comedian like that. His name is, he passed on, his name is, who's the guy? Norm Macdonald.
yeah,
He used to do the news on SNL, and I've watched some of his documentaries, and he's the type of comic where if he's bombing, he loves it. He keeps going. Like the more bomb, like the more the worse the bomb is, he'll keep going. And like,
Yeah.
it's just the type of comic he is, and that's why he's, you know, there's no. It's like music these days. You can, back in the day, you can. Pinpoint who's this on the you know, who's singing, who's rapping.
Yeah.
Now you can't, because they all sound the same.
yeah,
So it's hard to be a comic now where that you don't sound like another comic, you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like when you're uncomfortable,
Yeah.
a lot of times like people want to take like the easy way out, right? If you say something like, "Oh, that didn't go well," like, you know, that may make you feel better, right? But if you kind of like live with the discomfort, if you kind of like live in the discomfort and go, you know, like, I feel like that's when you break out. You know, a lot of times people like to avoid discomfort, they might act like someone else. Oh, you know,
Yeah.
people always ask, "How's your weekend?" Even though I don't feel like that, I'm gonna ask, "How's your weekend?" You know, when I meet someone, like in the office, right? In the office, we get a lot of like office speak, right? "Oh, how's your weekend?" "Oh, that's great. What are you doing this weekend?" "Oh, happy Friday," right?
Yeah.
A lot of stuff like that. But if you live in the discomfort, you're authentic. Even though people might not be able to kind of like be as easygoing around you, they see you, they respect you for who you are, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. People, again, are so scared about what people will think or what their, I guess, reaction is
Yeah.
after you say something. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
people are kind of censoring themselves, you know?
Yeah. So have you always done comedy, like even when you were in high school or younger than high school, or were you maybe like wanted to do comedy but stopped yourself, or have you always done it?
I feel like I've always been comedic
Yeah.
as a kid,
Yeah.
and I use it as I guess, a coping mechanism,
Yeah.
because you know how I am.
Yeah.
Physically, I have a physical disability,
Yeah.
so
And what is that disability, if you want to just talk about it so people aren't like, what is the disability?
Right? So this disability, it's called transverse myelitis. Transverse myelitis, it's like a neurological condition.
Is it related to like transgenderism or?
Transverse myelitis. I'm trying to remember what the break down the word. Trans means back.
Oh, okay.
So like it's part of my spine.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So I might be wrong. But
I thought trans meant like changing, but I might be wrong.
Verse. I don't know.
You're the one like with
Google,
it.
you can Google that. But it happened when I was 2 years old. Like I was born this like normal.
Yeah.
Healthy, everything.
Running, jumping.
Yeah, I was actually 2 when this happened. So I was already like done learning how to walk. I was already running out.
On your way to be a star athlete, right?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Damn, that Darwin was fast, the coach said. Yeah.
I've met relatives that knew me before it happened.
Yeah.
So it was like, I remember when you're young, you'd be like wrestling, jumping off couches and off beds, and you're like...
they come visit you one day, they're like, hey, where's your brother?
Yeah.
It is me, bitch.
I'm the same guy.
Yeah.
Transverse myelitis, it can affect anyone at any time of their life.
Yeah.
Like,
anyone can be prone to get it.
Yeah. I met this lady in Calgary. She got it when she was 30.
Yeah.
And now she's in a wheelchair, like permanently in a wheelchair. And then I met some other lady at a comedy show. She came up to the show to me after the show, and she said, I have the same thing. But then I looked at her. She looked fine. Yeah. She's like, I did have it like a mild. Yeah. And I recovered like maybe 95%. So. And
does it like always happen like in the middle of the night, like always when you wake up, or could you be like walking, getting some donuts, and then you just like can't walk anymore?
Yeah, this lady that I met at the show, she said she was on a trip, like a field trip for school, and she's saying that she just felt tingling wherever throughout her body, and then she couldn't move.
Oh wow!
They took her to wherever, and then. Did some, I guess, tests and like nerve rehab, I guess. Yeah. So she was able to recover. I'm thinking too, because this happened in the 80s. Yeah. So now technology is different from the 80s to now. Like, what if it happened to me now?
Yeah.
Would they find a cure? Not really a cure, but I guess.
A treatment.
I guess a treatment.
Yeah. And what was the treatment plan for her? Like, did they give her like medicine, or did they like
maybe
do something physical, like
more
lasering?
More physical. I think more like again nerve, maybe something to do with nerve therapy. Like I don't know. Again, the technology's here now, so they can probably do something. Yeah. But when I had it, they didn't know. Yeah. All I had was physiotherapy and. But yeah, a lot. And
you believe that even if you go through some kind of active treatment program right now, you believe that it's not going to help you at all. It will be not fruitful.
No, I don't think so. It's been too long. It's like I don't know.
Has like a doctor said that? Like
I think as a kid I asked that, and they said you can't really get any better. You can't get any worse. Yeah. It's just left you as is. It's like saying to someone like. Someone that's paralyzed, like, can I walk again? Yeah. I mean, technically they can make you walk again, but are you using your own legs? Like, robotic legs, they do that now. Yeah. So it's just, one of those things where,
sometimes I have something I really need to do, right?
Okay.
For example, you see these curtains that I put out. For a long time, I was thinking about them. And sometimes that, like, thought of putting up new curtains but not knowing what to do, it paralyzes me, right? And I would just avoid thinking about replacing the curtains. I would tell myself, like, you know what, I'm fine with these ugly curtains that I had previously, okay? Yeah. But once I actually got to do the curtains, I'm like, wait a minute, I can do it. It's easy. And now that I put up new curtains, it look much better, right? Mm-hmm. Do you think like any part of you like not seeing the doctor again, or maybe you have seen the doctor recently to say like, hey, look, medicine is better now, technology is here now, what kind of treatment plan do I have so I can walk like properly again? Like, do you think there's a little bit of that in your head, or not at all, where you're like avoiding seeing the doctor and seeking active treatment?
I mean, sometimes I just search online and see if there is anything. It's like cancer. They didn't find a cure for cancer yet, so it's
It's kind of like that.
It's kind of like that. They're always working on it, but no official. Hey, we found it. You want to do this? Like if I am told, definitely I'll look into it. But I mean, it's all research, right? Like I don't know. Again, what if the opportunity is there? I think you and I talked about this. Like, will I take that?
Yeah.
Because I'm the person I am today because of this.
Yeah.
Then if I get cured, I might turn out like you. You know, like
Once you're cured, you're like, I'm better than you. Yeah.
I wouldn't be doing this podcast. You know,
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. Imagine, like. No, but I think at a certain point, like once you grow into it, who's to say really? They say money changes you, right? And then some, more like hard-headed rich people had come out and said, no, money doesn't change you. It changes like those people around you, right? And so I guess it really depends. Like, I guess money doesn't change you, but it shows who you are this whole time. And I wonder if, like, you being able to walk will show a different light on you, like.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. You've seen movies like that, the guy's ugly or the girl's ugly and they get plastic surgery and then it's different. But then, I don't know, man.
Yeah. But, like, I feel like if those people were born like beautiful from the start, they might not have been such big like jerks, but they were ugly, right? And people kind of never gave them the light of day. Then they got better looking. They started getting the light of day. So they'll be like, hey, whoa, like what? Just because I look different? Just because I got a new nose? Like, oh, excuse me. Like, it's almost like you can't really, like, you can blame them to a certain extent, but you also understand, like, hey, look, they were treated different just because of, like their nose being a little different. I can see why they would be bitter, maybe at first, but if they never fully adjust, that could turn away a lot of people.
Yeah.
Man.
I say just happy just be happy with what you have, and there's always something that you don't. There's always something that you don't like. You don't like about yourself.
Yeah.
Like, it's just how it is.
Yeah, even the most beautiful girl, like there's something.
Exactly.
Yeah. So like this comedy thing, like how far do you want to take it? You got a headline show, June 30th. That's my birthday, by the way.
Ooh.
Yeah, you got a headline show.
Come, man. You don't have to pay for the ticket. Just come, man.
Really?
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Yo, come. Bring people.
Right.
Bring friends.
I'll be there.
Yes.
My friends have to pay though. Yeah. MLM. I could be MLMing the tickets. I got these tickets. You pay for mine indirectly. I'll add $1 on your ticket price.
Yeah.
But like, how far do you want to take it? Like, now you got a headline show, and like, do you want to say like how much you get paid? Like, I'm curious. Like, how much do you get paid for like headlining a 30-minute set?
It depends.
You can give me a ballpark, like 3 digits, high 2 digit.
I say 3.
3.
3.
What do you mean you say 3? Like, is it 3 or could I say, like, if I saw the number, would I say 3?
No.
Yeah.
Okay, I say it's 3.
Okay.
What I'm trying to say is it depends on the show.
Yeah.
It depends on the promoter or whoever's putting on the show.
Yeah.
And it depends on you. Like, if you're really good, they'll pay you more.
Yeah.
So I was just trying to say is, at a point where you know how much you're worth.
Yeah.
Like I've heard some.
Was there some negotiation? Like, they're like, Darwin, how about headlining June 30th? And you're like, you got to play it cool. You're like, let me check my calendar, Stu. And then, they're like, well, how about this much? They start, and you're like, well, I don't know. I'm kind of busy that week. How about this much? Like, was there some negotiation?
I'm not at that stage where I can start talking like that.
Yeah. I'll take it, Stu.
That's basically where I am. Like, I'm at the stage where I'm not really new, so I can like pick and choose really what shows I want to do, and because most of the shows are like it's too far, or like is it really worth it to drive half an hour for $15 or something, right? Like, but it's really not. For me, it's really not the money, because there is really no money right now.
Yeah.
Money, if you're in, I was told by a veteran comic, if you're in it for the money, you're gonna burn out quick. Like that's why people drop out real quick. It's like, I did comedy before, like for a year, and I stopped. Like your mindset has to be different. Like you gotta really love what you're doing and why you're doing it. And sometimes you don't even get paid. You get paid by food. Like you get drinks and
you get paid by exposure. That's
exactly,
what I tell a lot
exposure
of these people, right?
and networking. Yeah. People see you and stuff. Just it's all about because what's my goal? My goal is to, like, I was thinking this on the way here, like maybe next year I'll start like going. My goal is, because I reached out to this comedian that did this already. So that you should always reach out to someone that's been there or done it already, so you know. And if they give you advice, that's great. If they don't, they don't. They don't like to share. But anyways, this guy, he's from New Zealand, moved to Canada. He's in Toronto right now, but he just recently did a tour from the East Coast all the way to the West. Like, how did you do that? And he said he did it all himself. Self-promotion, he did his website. So maybe next year I'm going to try to do the same thing. And just, I said, how did you know where to perform? He's like, I just reached out to all the clubs. If you can get me on the show, and just headed east to west. And like, you know, that's something you always have to have a goal in life. It doesn't have to be comedy, anything. So you know where you're going, where you're heading. Because then if you don't have a goal or, a finish line, like you're just drifting, right? Like,
and so along the same lines of what the person you reached out to said, like, did you ever have like a manager or think about like getting a manager?
I mean, maybe later on, but right now it's so early. It's too early to even hire someone. You know what I mean? It doesn't make no sense to. You're still working on your, I guess, routine and your material. So once you.
It's almost like most comics, like when they're just starting out, they're on their own, they're independent.
Oh, yeah.
Then when they get really big or something, then they can have like a tour manager and a manager.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because you don't have the time to do that anymore. You're focused to just perform.
And this person you reached out to was independent. He said, fully
right
independent.
now. But you can see he's in maybe a year or a couple of years, or maybe a few years from now, he'll probably have a Netflix special. Like he's just.
Oh yeah, great. Yeah.
You know, you can see his numbers, his followers just growing. You know.
Yeah.
And that's my goal too. But again, I'm not stressing over it. Just if it happens, it happens. But honestly, for me, it's really, I'm doing it for my dad. Yeah. Because my dad has always been the comedian of the family. Yeah. Like, he every like get together, he's the guy in the center, and they're all surrounded laughing, and you know what I mean. Like he had this comedic talent, but he didn't do anything with it. Yeah. So I'm kind of like trying to do it, live it, like have him live through me. Yeah. So. Yeah, so he's like 73 now. Yeah. So hopefully my goal may be on TV, and so you can see me on TV one day. You know what I mean? Yeah. So hopefully.
Yeah, you wanna be on like a special or like on one of like the Comedy Central's like programming, right?
Yeah,
like,
anything. Anything. I'm reaching out again. You reach out to the people where you want to be. Yeah. Like, how did you get here? Yeah. And then most of the time. They don't share. Yeah. They don't want to tell you. Yeah. You figure it out yourself. Yeah. I did it myself. You figure it yourself. Like, okay. So you try to reach out to the right.
Have you reached out to somebody before and they've said something along those lines, like, I'm not, like, they're just outright say it. They don't say like, they don't just leave you on red. They'll say like, I'm not sharing this secret with you. Like they say something like that.
They do say, I mean, but that only makes you want to do it more. Yeah. So I reached out to this comic. And I'm like, I had ideas of like putting on like, there's a documentary on Netflix called, Jerry Seinfeld did it. But basically it showed a comic working on a joke. Yeah. This joke he came up with, it was like an hour documentary, and he worked on the joke till the end. And it shows the progress, the stages of this joke. Yeah. And at the end of the documentary, like, you know what I mean? It becomes his set. So it's cool to see like them grow, like, getting advice from Jerry Seinfeld, and it's all the same, really. Like, it's all about, comedians are not what do you call it? They're not famous right away. You know what I mean? Like it's a struggle. It's definitely a struggle. Like,
But nowadays, like with the social media and everything, and I see you do some of it, you'll post clips from your set, right? And you'll even like caption it. Like you'll caption it in like that sort of ADHD, like TikTok mentality brain that most people have, where you'll caption like each word, like as you're telling the joke, and it really captures the attention. So you're doing it now, you know? Like I can see you do that, and I think social media is like a fast track. It's a way to get yourself out there like really fast, you know?
I feel that too. Like we have the technology now to be able to get somewhere even quicker, right? Versus back in the day, they had to manually like sell tickets. It's crazy, but
yeah. And I think one of my favorite comics is Theo Von.
Oh, Theo Von is really good. He's a killer. I was listening to him the other day, man. That guy's brain, again, the way he thinks, it's too funny.
Yeah.
What was he talking about? He's like, this is his beginning of his joke. He's like, I don't know if you heard this one. He's like, I was bitten by a black widow the other day. Yeah, she was 41. We were waiting at the bus stop.
Yeah.
But he's just, oh man, he was on a podcast, and he was explaining to the guy doing the podcast about eating a girl out.
Yeah.
He was on his back and he's eating a girl out. But the way he described it, he's like, yeah, I was eating a girl out. Like, you know how Michelangelo was painting the ceiling? Like, you know what I mean? Who comes up with that? Like, he's good.
Yeah. I like him. I think he's just like really authentic, you know? And I feel like he might be, you know, high functioning autistic or something.
Something.
You know? Yeah, because like the way he interprets things is like really literal, you know?
His thought process is, Russell Peters actually vouched for him. I don't know if you heard that.
No.
Because Russell Peters, he gives I guess recommendations on the upcoming comics, and he gave Theo Von's name, and they like, we don't want him. But Russell Peters, you want this guy because he's going to be the next big thing.
When was this? Like
here's an interview
a few years ago.
Yeah. They interviewed Russell Peters, and one of the questions was about what do you think about the new comics? Is like, oh, I actually recommend comics that I see, and I know they're going to be big.
And who said like we don't want him?
Like his manager or something.
Oh wow!
Yeah. He's like, you guys are not listening to me. Theo Von, who else? Like Matt Rife was one of his suggestions, and they don't want him. I'm like, man, this guy is what you want. He's good looking, he has blue eyes, he has muscles. Yeah. What do you want? Like,
that almost sounds like a description for like a gay porn actor. Like, what do you want from him? Like, he's good looking, he's got muscles, he's young. Like, what do you want from him?
It's funny, but it's all about timing too. Yeah. Because Russell Peters is famous because of timing. Because YouTube started, and then I don't know if you know the story. Someone illegally uploaded his set online, and then
no, I didn't hear.
Yeah, so he had. It wasn't even his full special. It was like clips. So everyone had these clips of Russell Peters of him doing different voices, and he didn't know. And then all of a sudden he just blew up from that. But that's it. I don't know if you noticed, but without the voices, you know, his materials aren't strong. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's the voices that's making him famous.
Yeah, that's sort of like impersonation, right? Yeah. That's how I knew Russell first. He was like impersonating like the Indian dad or something, right? Mm-hmm. Or how when he was a kid, like he was all horny and stuff. I remember he was like, you know, you get boners like randomly, right? And then you have to press them down. And he's like, oh shit, but that feels so good. Like, I remember like, that's like what I remember him from. And he was a really strong comic. And he also showed up in like some movies too, you know? Yeah. I often think to myself, like, once I made it, you know, like, I want to go reach out to like movie directors and be like, hey, can I get a cameo line? Like, just doing like, you know, like maybe there's a scene where a cop talks for a second. And then it's me all of a sudden. Like, I just think that would be great. But you don't really see too many celebrities do that, where they show up in cameos like out of nowhere. Like Drake, I think, did it maybe like once or twice, right? Yeah. Where he's like a random character. But, you know, it'd be so funny if someone just kept doing that.
Right?
Yeah, and you have nothing to do with acting. Like, you're a comic or you're a singer, but you just keep showing up in movies on random cameos.
That's so funny. Yeah. He was on Anchorman. Right?
Oh, wait, he was like Drake? The newer one, right? Like the second one, Drake?
Yeah, second one, right?
Yeah, it was him, yeah. I was like, what is that movie? Yeah, Anchorman too.
Yeah, Anchorman. That's funny. Oh, man.
You know, You know, what's The Anchorman called? The main one by Will Ferrell. What's his name?
Ron Burgundy.
Ron Burgundy, right?
Yeah.
They've been like kind of using his like character a lot, like especially on the Tom Brady roast, right? He came in. I didn't really like that. Like I felt like he was kind of like, you know, I don't know if he was washed up, like doing that shtick too many times. You know, I felt like it wasn't strong, that Ron Burgundy set. What did you think about it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel the same too.
Yeah.
Like, just I don't know if it's the actual character or even if it's Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
Because Will Ferrell was at one point everywhere.
Yeah.
Is every movie in the theater, and like people, I don't know, and you just get tired of. It's the same.
Yeah.
So I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. I wonder if he got like, you know, if maybe for that day he got a little tired, you know, too many zeros in his bank account that day. He was just like, all right, you know, I'm just going to do it. And, you know, maybe phoned it in a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like once you make it, like you reach your peak, just stop.
Yeah.
I don't know if you keep going. Like even like I don't know, like talk about like sports, like I don't know, say like Tyson or something. There, like they should just stop boxing. Like it just because I don't know for you it takes away. Like, are you really boxing because you like boxing or because of the money? Like, if it's about the money, then I don't want to watch because you know your love for the sport is not there anymore. So things like that, like if, and again, it's not nothing again, like just not just comedy, just life. Like when you reach the top, like, I guess you can't really reach the top when you're in life.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. It's almost like, you know, if you are like hailed as the GOAT, right?
Yeah.
Like, like you almost want to see them like challenge themselves a little bit. So let's say Mike Tyson comes back, right? Like you want to see him fight somebody like, if you are going to come back, you want to see him fight somebody that's like a bit of a challenge, you know? It's like a threat to him, right? Yeah. You know, you don't want to just see them do it for the money, or when they call it like the exhibition match. Oh, this won't count towards my record. It's an exhibition match. You're like, what? Like, I want to see you put something on the line, right? Like, you know, if you're going to fight again, I want to see you put something on the line, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But you know, I think it's, people want to stay relevant. You know, I think whether anybody wants to admit it or not, like even a recluse, like they want attention, right? So it's almost like people want attention. They want to stay relevant. And I think a lot of them are turning to like podcasting now. You know, Mike Tyson's got his podcast, you know, and you know, maybe when you're hailed as the GOAT in some avenue, maybe you can kind of sit back and just let out wisdom, recount the stories that people never got to hear as you were rising to the top, you know?
I feel like once you reach the top, maybe be like the mentor of somebody, you know, coach someone or be the person behind the next big thing. Yeah. That's what I would say.
Yeah. But maybe they don't get enough money being a mentor, you know, because you're mentoring like one person who's young, who might not make it to the top. They're like, let me do something that will get a lot of money. Like otherwise, like, unless they're mentoring someone that's young and hot, like coming up, you know, like Jay-Z mentoring Lil Wayne, but they're kind of around the same era, but you know what I'm saying.
I got you. Well, I mean, Drake, Lil Wayne mentored Drake.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Sign somebody under your,
Man, some of these people have so much money, you can't spend it all.
Yeah. Like, right now, I'm making like, I don't know, $65,000, right? Like, I could buy, you know, some food. I could eat out like once a week, a little bit comfortably, right? I still like to maybe make it once every 2 weeks, right? But I wonder, like, even if I start making like twice the amount, 130,000, could I, like, how comfortable would I feel with just 130,000, right? And how comfortable would I feel maybe double that, 250,000? Would I be so comfortable that I don't even want to make $1 million? Like, I think it all comes down to like what you want to do, right? Like, I want to buy a property. I think, you know, that's why I have to make more.
That's how they stay rich, right? They invest it into something. I was just gonna add on to what you're saying, like how much more do you want to make to be comfortable? I've heard that when you reach a certain number, it's like nothing. Like once you reach, I don't know, maybe say we'll just say 100 million.
Yeah. Okay.
Once you reach 100 million, anything more than that, it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
It's 100. You have 100 million.
Yeah. Yeah, you could like piss it away.
Oh, was it like yeah? You watch the show Narcos? It's called Narcos.
Yeah.
They were like burning their money there so much.
Yeah.
They were burning to keep warm. You know, like the rats were eating their cash. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? You know what I want to sort of like enter the next phase in my life. Like I want to be able to have $4,000 a month coming in without me doing anything, so that I could travel and I could take this podcast on the road, you know, and I could meet somebody in, you know, Ukraine or something, right?
Wow.
And I could just, you know, have a Ukrainian like young man come onto the podcast, you know, like for YouTube still, right? Like, you know, and I could, you know, go to like the jungles of Cambodia and I could have a jungle tour guide on the podcast, you know? So I could travel and do this, you know. That would be nice. If I could have $4,000 coming in, then I could take the next phase, you know. Then I could quit the day job.
How'd you come up with that number, 4,000?
Because I'm thinking to myself, how much would I need to spend staying in like medium level hotels and being able to eat out while traveling, maybe buying 1 or 2 plane tickets a month, and then while still being able to save some money. And I think $4,000 is a reasonable amount. I could maybe spend $3,000 a month, save the $1,000, you know, $3,000, spend it on tickets, hotel, and food, and then pretty much like.
It depends where you go to.
Yeah.
Because 4,000, I know for sure, in Hawaii doesn't last too long.
Oh yeah, I'm just crushing my dream right away. Yeah, thank you. It's Switzerland. Let's cross that out too. Yeah. Do you think I can do West Germany? Let's cross that out too.
Yeah, you gotta figure. Oh man, I guess you can relate it to comedians. Like before they were famous, they're sleeping on people's couches.
Yeah.
They're sleeping in their cars. Like, again, I don't know the validity of Steve Harvey's stories. Like, he used to sleep in his car, and he would wash up in the bathroom at the mall.
Yeah.
Like, you've been to the mall's washroom, like, there's paper towels. He would put soap in it, you know, the foaming soap, and then he would wash himself in the sink.
Yeah.
And then he would do and then he perform at night for $15, and he would do that. That's another thing too. Like, being a comedian, if you have a family already, for me it's challenging because you can't perform every night. You can't go out every night.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's why a lot of the comedians' marriages or relationships don't last.
Yeah.
Because they have a dream, and the wife or whoever they're with, they can't keep up, or they're never home because they're touring all the time. That funny story is my father-in-law told me this. I don't know where he came up with this, but he's like, one time he's like, "Hey Darwin, if this comedy thing happens, you become famous, don't leave my daughter." Huh? Like, why would I leave your daughter?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's his mentality. Like, wow, he's thinking that already. And like, man,
and he said that to you like seriously.
I don't know.
Or was he like
maybe
joshing you?
Half joke.
Yeah.
But
yeah. You know, that reminds me, right? That brings up a question in my head. Okay, so could you agree that like men and women, we start our life differently, right? Like when a woman is 18, they have a lot of value, right? Like they're beautiful. A lot of men want to hit on them, right? They get a lot of attention from the opposite gender already, right? But when a man is 18, they don't, unless they're born from a wealthy family, they don't have much, right? They got to go build and get theirs, right? It's sort of like a woman has to preserve their value, a man has to go out and get their value, right? So do you agree with this? Or what are your thoughts on this, in that as men and women grow older, and let's say they're a couple, right? And then the woman is by the man's side, and then the man made it. He's become a top-known comedian, right? If that man wants to sleep around sometimes, do you think the woman should allow it? And not reciprocate themselves, and not go like, okay, well, okay, you're rich now, you want to sleep around? I get to sleep around too. But like, you know, she doesn't sleep around, she lets him sleep around. Because maybe, you know, she had more of that opportunity when she was younger, and he didn't. And now that he made it, he should be able to spend those like social resources, social capital that he has now accumulated. Yeah. What do you think about that? Do you think he should be able to?
If that's how their relationship is, that's why I say go. You know, that's you. Go ahead.
Yeah. But what about in general? 75% of men in relationships, like do you think that there's something to be said about once a man has made it, right? And he can bankroll his family a good life, a mansion, good education, good food, that if he wants to, sleep around sometimes he should be able to?
Again,
It comes down to the individual, you think?
it definitely comes down to the individual and how the relationship is. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's, like I'm trying to think of, say, like Leonardo DiCaprio right now.
Yeah.
That guy, I don't know if this is true, but he's dating young.
Yeah.
Like he's in what, his 60s, 70s almost?
Maybe 50. I don't know if he's 60, but maybe.
So he's dating like 19-year-olds.
Yeah.
And then when they reach like 26, he breaks up with them and then dates like
25, I heard. Yeah.
again. So that's his life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it affecting your life? If it's not, then go ahead. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man.
So you think that, like, if the man so chooses and he does want to reap a little bit of the reward that he's sown, he should be able to. And then, if he doesn't, he doesn't. That's what you're kind of like.
Well, that's why they're no longer with their spouses and relationships. If you look at the comedians that are big and they're on their second, third marriage rating.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Mark Twain Award with Kevin Hart?
No.
So he had. So you know how that works? The Mark Twain Award?
No.
So there's an award you give for, it's a Mark Twain Award, and it's given for like comedy, like it's like I don't know what to say, like it's like up there.
Yeah.
So if you get that mark, like Dave Chappelle got it the other year, and now it's Kevin Hart. So anyways, the lineup was Chris Rock. So basically, you're sitting on a balcony, and they talk about you and they joke about you.
Yeah.
So Chris Rock's opening line is so funny because it's so true, but I don't know if it was harsh. But anyways, like, oh, look at Kevin Hart, he's smiling. That's the second marriage smile right there. You know what I mean? And his second wife is there.
Yeah.
He's like, that's that second wife marriage right there, or life right there. Is like, we didn't struggle at all. You know what I mean? Like, because that's his second family, right? He's already big with these, like. He made it already, and then he started a new family. So it was pretty funny because, his first wife, he struggled, because he was a struggling comic. Right? It's so funny. It's so funny because Chris Rock pointed it out that everyone was thinking it's so good.
Yeah, I think that, like, there is a difference between a good woman and, like, just an attractive woman, right? Like, there's definitely a difference. Like, someone who is willing to stick by you, the feeling you get being with them, the support, the security, is what you crave as soon as you bang a hot woman. As soon as you bang a hot woman and you're like, that's empty, you crave the security. But once you've been with the secure and safe woman for a long time, you're like, I need something exciting, So there's something to be said about, I think, still treating the person that held you down all these years well. And, if truly you're in that relationship and, she's saying like, hey, look, I get it. You're rich now. You can bankroll us. Thank you so much. But I still cannot accept you like stepping out every once in a while, stepping out, sleeping with a groupie every now and then. I can't accept that. Then, doing that would be betraying her trust. But I'm just wondering if there should be a global paradigm shift in women, like if their man truly has skyrocketed in finance and success, that should be allowed. And I sort of do see it. I do see some women like quietly allow that.
I've seen that too. I've heard that too.
I wonder like how much do they like get hurt by it? Like if they're 35, their husband is 35, successful, right? Like, and then their husband sleeps with a groupie every like month or something. Like I wonder how much it affects them. I don't know. Do you think it devastates them, but for the better of the family they hold it in, or they understand like men's gotta be men sometimes? Like,
I heard that.
Yeah.
I mean, but then I feel like again it depends on the type of person you are, right? Like okay, my husband's doing that to me, but look where I live in a mansion.
Yeah.
You know, I have like a different car of the, you know, every day of the week.
Yeah.
So, and then she, you know, and all he's doing is really sleeping around. As long as he uses protection, then I'm good with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that.
And he still loves me. He wants to
Yeah.
move the family forward still. Like,
Yeah, again, it's
You know, I
it's a
wonder-
lifestyle. I mean, what's his name? Snoop Dogg's wife. Snoop Dogg's wife is the same girlfriend from high school.
yeah.
Snoop Dogg, you know,
Yeah.
all his videos, all these women, and like, I'm sure he's done with, but he's still with the same lady.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, man.
Yeah. 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 I almost feel like, you know, I almost feel like there's not enough appreciation for the man in the relationship for no, you know, I can't really formulate
Well,
that
it is,
statement.
flip it around. Where we think like if a woman's doing
Yeah.
the same,
Yeah.
and the guy's the homemaker
Yeah.
or whatever.
I feel like he doesn't have any say. If it's the same situation turn around and some guy who's not working, whose wife catapulted them to success, okay? And his wife says to him, "Hey, listen, you know, I still love you. I want to move the family forward. Our kids can have the best education. We can eat the best, healthiest food. We can live in this best house. But every month I want to sleep with a young, hot guy." I feel like the guy can't really like, and you can't sleep with any other woman. You have to only sleep with me. Like, I feel like the guy, he doesn't, you know, he can't really have a say in it. He can have a say in so much as like, oh, you know, I don't agree with that, and I'll leave. But I think the guy should be able to understand, you know? But at the same time, it's a little bit different because I feel like women get attention from when they're young. Men's attention is sort of like they have to kind of build themselves up to be something. They have to be the top dog, and then, you know, girls will flock in. But women, they don't have to be the top dog, and then guys will flock in, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's yeah, you're saying the truth, right? Like that's how it is. Like
Yeah. 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 Well, you know, I think like we had a great conversation. I thank you for coming by. This is the first podcast ever. So thank you for being here. And where can they find you, Darwin?
You can find me on social media, Instagram, Facebook. Just type in my name, as is DARWIN, BARCELLANO. But yeah, if you follow me, I'll try to post as much as I can, and yeah, the more likes and more attention I get, the more I'll put up. So
Thank you for coming by.
yes,
Darwin Barcellano, Instagram, Facebook. Yeah.
yes.
Thank you.
All right, my friend. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.